Hello for the news. Tonight, gun terror, Donald Trump's escape, as shots are fired at a prestigious dinner in Washington. The moment the gunman charged through security before being taken down. A warning from our government: families of ISIS fighters attempting to return home will receive zero assistance. The national campaign set to protect Australia's most vulnerable, hoping to boost vaccine rates. And Newcastle celebrates its first A-League premiership in style with a thumping F3 derby win.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. Donald Trump may have escaped another attempt on his life. The US president in a room full of journalists, shielded and rushed out by Secret Service agents as shots were fired just outside the prestigious White House Correspondents' Dinner. The suspect, a school teacher, is in custody as the FBI tonight works to determine his motive.
Almost a blur as he barrels through the security checkpoint. He's fast, but not fast enough. The Secret Service stopping the attack in a matter of seconds, just meters away inside the Washington Hilton ballroom. Guns brandished between gowns and suits. The Secret Service rushing the President and First Lady from the stage. Panic as hundreds scrambled under seats and tables.
And that was very unexpected. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession.
The fear captured on Melania Trump's face.
I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster.
Trump's cabinet members and hundreds of journalists had been attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner. CNN anchor Wolf Blitzer had just left the bathroom outside the ballroom.
All of a sudden, a guy with a weapon, it was a very, very serious weapon, he starts shooting, and I happened to have been a few feet away from him as he was shooting, and of course, first thing that went through my mind is he trying to shoot me.
The suspect was carrying a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives.
This individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could.
Identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen from Los Angeles, police say he'd been staying at the Washington Hilton.
Right here in this very area, they actually tackled him to the ground and handcuffed him.
My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job.
A Secret Service agent was shot but saved by their bulletproof vest.
We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table, who knows? But we had people all over the room, so he had a long way to go.
High-profile guests taken away when the area was declared safe, including Erica Kirk, the widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated last year. The hotel's been the backdrop of similar violence in the past. A gunman shot and injured former US President Ronald Reagan in 1981.
I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone.
Trump had been preparing to deliver a speech. The event will now be rescheduled.
I was all set to really rip it.
Trump, the target of 2 assassination attempts in 2024, now caught up in fresh violence.
I'm not a basket case. I really take it as it is. I do it for the country.
Well, tonight, publicly at least, no motive is known, but that could soon change because we have been watching police and the FBI there searching the home of 31-year-old Cole Allen. We're a little bit south of Los Angeles International Airport. For some context, we're in a beachside suburb. It's called Torrance. If you look at Cole Allen's LinkedIn, he appears to be a man who wears many hats. He describes himself as an engineer, a scientist, a game developer, and a teacher. And I actually just spoke to a neighbour here who says he knows students who were tutored by Allen.
He tutored them in the fields of mathematics, of science, of biology. They said that they thought he was very kind.
Now, as for political affiliations, in 2024, public records indicate that Cole Allen donated a small amount of money to Kamala Harris's campaign. He's been hit with 2 charges that could also change depending on what police find. Allen will front a federal court in the coming days.
Reid Butler reporting there. To other news now, and the families of ISIS fighters attempting to return to Australia are being warned they'll receive zero assistance from the federal government. That vow coming as a group of anti-immigration protesters descended on Parliament House.
A migration to the capital, calling for an end of mass immigration to the country. Hundreds hanging on Parliament's lawn, draped in and under the flag, and while music was played,
I want to hear you guys.
only one got a rockstar reception.
Politicians, you might get a few of us down here, but then again, where are the rest of the bastards? Why aren't they here?
Nearby,
Migration numbers have been too high. They've been higher than Labor's own targets.
the opposition leader confirming the coalition will preference migrants from liberal democracies, but won't exclude others.
Many good people come from bad countries, but there is a higher risk that some bad people come from those bad countries.
You're saying that if you don't show values, you're getting deported. You're going back overseas, right?
Organisers are promising more of these rallies across the country in the coming months, but it's a much smaller group of Australian citizens causing problems for the government at the moment. A group of wives and children of former ISIS fighters currently in Syria.
The government is providing and will provide absolutely zero assistance to them. It's not something that this government will be doing.
These people are coming back to Australia because the side that they went over to support, Islamic State, lost.
The group, made up of women and children, are Australian citizens and likely to face domestic charges on arrival.
If they manage to get to Australian borders and they have committed any crimes, they will be met by the full force of law at those borders.
After a week where the Senate scrutinised if Australia's gas exports should be taxed more, the fight outside of the Parliament has taken a twist. A campaign calling for gas companies to shout the next round has been taken offline by social media giant Meta, citing community standards. The group behind the ad, Australians for Affordable Energy, are pointing the finger at the gas companies themselves and a multi-million-dollar fund aimed at pushing back against higher taxes. 9 News understands despite pressure from the campaign and inside the Labor caucus, no changes will be announced in the upcoming budget.
Political editor Charles Croucher reporting there. A vital delivery for the nation's Bowsers today. This tanker steaming into Sydney from Singapore, the first of 58 fuel ships arriving on Australian shores. Forward orders show 4.6 billion litres of fuel currently in the pipeline. National stocks are holding firm at 44 days, diesel 33 days, and jet fuel at 30. Donald Trump has pulled the plug on a second round of peace talks in Pakistan. The US president cancelling the flights of his negotiators after Iran wouldn't commit to face-to-face negotiations.
America's envoy grounded.
You probably heard that we cancelled the trip. We have all the cards.
Donald Trump concerned he wasn't getting bang for his buck after Iran refused to commit to face-to-face negotiations.
Too much traveling, takes too long, too expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person.
Iran's foreign minister was in Pakistan, Abbas Araghchi, posting online that his trip to Pakistan was fruitful, but he's yet to see if the US is truly serious about diplomacy. Negotiations keep hitting roadblocks.
They don't know. They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting.
The US president blaming unclear leadership in Tehran.
I'll deal with whoever runs the show.
The self-proclaimed master of a deal, adamant walking away from the talks was the right call.
They gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, within 10 minutes, we got a new paper that was much better.
Better, but not enough to open the Strait of Hormuz. The US still enforcing its own blockade, trying to keep pressure on Tehran. There's now no clear indication on when the next round of peace talks will happen as explosions continue in southern Lebanon. Benjamin Netanyahu ordering further attacks despite a ceasefire agreement, with Hezbollah returning fire with rockets. A delicate truce tonight, even more fragile.
Lily Greer, NBN News. The sale of a controversial parcel of state-owned land at Valor Beach is reigniting calls for investment back into the region. Nambucca Valley Council wants proceeds from the sale to be redirected to fast-track a housing development nearby.
More than 3 hectares, this lot at Valor Beach, declared surplus by the state government last year, officially changing hands. The Langsford Way plot going to auction last week.
Sing it out for me, buyers who'd like to own the property.
With a suggested price of between $2.2 and $2.6 million drawing no bids, the property was eventually passed in at $1.9 million.
Once, twice, third all done at $1.9 million. Finished bidding. All right, let's pass the property as signed.
Before a sale was negotiated behind closed doors. The final price hasn't been disclosed. Nambucca Valley Council had discussed its options prior to the land going under the hammer.
We went into confidential about whether we could be able to try and buy it for the community. But that wasn't an option because of what we'd found out of what it may be going for, and we haven't got the budget to be able to buy that land.
Saying that buying the site would have come at the cost of other key projects across the valley. Instead, attention turning to a much larger development already underway nearby. A 150-hectare site to become an entirely new suburb, featuring hundreds of homes as well as parks, retail and industrial land.
The council's agreed that I write to the Premier and that the proceeds go to Valor Urban Growth Area through the council to give us more infrastructure to get into the housing earlier.
Premier Chris Minns and the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure were contacted for comment.
I and every other councillor and our executive team want to work cohesively with the government.
Britt Ramsey, NBN News.
Mid-Coast Council has vowed to do everything it can to secure funding to build a new Wingham pool after the existing one was damaged during flooding last year. It comes after Minister for Sport Steve Camper responded to a community petition claiming there was no funding available. Council says an application lodged with the Reconstruction Authority has been passed on to the federal government for a decision. A replacement pool is estimated to cost $15 million. As temperatures begin to drop, firefighters are calling on residents to ensure they have a working smoke alarm and to check around their home for potential hazards like lithium batteries. Also to make sure electric blankets and heaters are working properly.
A big thing about winter is everybody's inside. Lots of cooking. Keep looking when cooking. It's really important. The majority of residential house fires start in the kitchen.
Fire and rescue crews offer free safety visits, which include a smoke alarm check. Crowds took to the streets and shores of Byron today for the 30th annual Byron Bay Triathlon. Despite the event's rich history in the region, organisers have sadly confirmed it's the last time the event will run in its current format.
Despite a persistent drizzle, there was no shortage of happy faces at the finish line of the 30th annual Byron Bay Triathlon this morning.
So the Byron Triathlon, the Olympic distance, was really good. The weather was a bit not so great, but we pushed through.
Competitors like Nick Story travelling all the way from Brisbane for the race, bringing a whole support crew to cheer him on as he crossed the finish line for his first triathlon. But this may be Nick's first and last Byron Tri. Race organisers confirming this will be the final time the event runs in its complete format.
To close Byron on a Sunday morning takes a lot of money and a lot of effort, so we just feel it's reached that point where a new path has to be found.
Rising costs of operating partnered with lower registrations, meaning the event is now too expensive to execute. A tale all too familiar for major events in the region, Bluesfest cancelled under a similar premise. But, rain, hail or cancellation, Byron was still abuzz today.
Look, I think people were here to celebrate 30 years of racing in Byron, and they all came with a great attitude.
Despite wet weather, the event is being hailed a success. Over 800 competitors crossing the finish line for the Byron Bay Triathlon's last hurrah. While organisers say it's the last time we'll see the event in full, it might return next year in a different capacity.
Perhaps a rapid-fire, short-format race where we don't close as many roads, we get to still participate in a beautiful location.
Isabel Gallagher, NBN News.
This week was a busy one for real estate in the Northern Rivers and the Gold Coast. 27 homes sold above the $1 million mark, the most expensive in Benora Point for $4.5 million. Prop track date indicates house prices in the Tweed Shire specifically have risen 8.6% in the last 12 months. And looking at the weather for the North Coast and the Gold Coast today, a top of 24 at Coolangatta, 23 at Coffs with some showers around the Northern Rivers, 22 at Lismore, 25 in Port Macquarie. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, the death of former Transport Minister and Shortland MP Peter Morris. Also coming up, the national campaign triggered by plummeting vaccine rates. Slingshot snaps the terrifying malfunction on a fairground ride in Spain. And the New South Wales fishermen found alive after days at sea.
The Nick Scali Easter clearance ends Monday, with up to 50% off a huge range of furniture for every kind of home. Save up to 50% at the Easter clearance. Ends Monday at Nick Scali.
There's 162 steps in making a hat, and about 66 pairs of hands that each hat will go through. We're one of the only hat manufacturers in the world that actually makes them start to finish. It's pretty important that we maintain that because definitely a dying skill. And that's what makes our Kooba so special, is we're locally made by Australians for Australians.
$1,000 seems like a lot per metre. It's $17.20 Aussie dollars. What are the transfer fees? $0.
Just think of the things you could do.
We're not you, but when it comes to sending foreign currency, we can be your W.
When you need urgent medical care, but it's not life-threatening, that's a case for a bulk-billed walk-in Medicare Urgent Care Clinic. Find locations and opening hours at health.gov.au/Medicare UCC. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Hungry Jack's Whopper just got a delicious makeover. Try the new Bistro Whopper with flame-grilled Aussie beef, Swiss cheese, grilled onions and peppercorn sauce. Or try the Bistro Jack's fried chicken. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
I can't believe my evil boss sent me down here to... What was that?
Help! I got lost down here.
Oh, it's just the intern we hired last summer.
Unrecreation is spreading, and only one thing can stop it.
Honey, is that a car?
No, that's the Recreational Activity Vehicle 4. Made for recreationists and the recreation-ish. So get on board and inflate the inflatable, because the hero of recreation is here.
What do we got here?
It's actually the...
All-new RAV4. Long live recreation. Toyota.
Nice! Every new Rawson home is built to the highest standard, with a team of experts guiding you every step of the way.
So they take you under their wing? Huh?
Oh dear. And with a lifetime structural guarantee, you know it's built to last.
Putting it to the test there, Cookie.
You can be confident you'll build better together with Rawson Homes.
The Hunter community is mourning the loss of former Federal Transport Minister and Shortland MP Peter Morris following news of his death this morning. Mr Morris served the electorate for 26 years between 1972 and 1998. Among his ministerial achievements, the opening of the M1 motorway between Newcastle and Sydney. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese paying tribute to the Labor heavyweight, saying he was one of the reasons we look back on the Hawke government with such fondness. He was 93. Plummeting vaccine rates have triggered a new national campaign to protect Australia's most vulnerable. Misinformation online is being blamed for the drop-off in both children and the elderly. Now the government is fighting back.
Patching up a growing problem. Childhood immunisation is a safe, free and effective way to protect your kids from serious diseases.
Our littlest citizens at the heart of a new ad campaign alongside older Australians.
To prepare for viruses like COVID and influenza, I get vaccinated regularly.
And Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people.
There's nothing worse than getting sick and not being able to perform.
This is the federal government's $20 million answer to misinformation, sometimes spread by high-profile skeptics.
Are you actually still recommending people get the vaccine?
If I advised you to swim in a lake that I knew there to be alligators in, wouldn't you want me to tell you there were alligators in it?
We think it's our responsibility as government to be able to steer people to some reliable, evidence-based information.
It's okay to have questions, but go on in and talk to your doctor.
Childhood immunisation rates are dropping. As of September last year, 91.6% of 1-year-olds were fully vaccinated, 89.6% for 2-year-olds and 93.2% of 5-year-olds, all well below the goal of 95%.
And that's when you need herd immunity, and it's those rates of 95% immunisation coverage that protect people from these illnesses.
There's also a flu booster blitz ahead of the colder months. Last winter, just 61.1% of people over the age of 65 got the jab. That coincided with a surge in flu cases from the year before, sparking this pre-winter call to action to rebuild our wall of immunity. Helene Lambetsos, NBN News.
A massive fire has erupted at a warehouse in Vietnam inside a waste oil storage facility near Hanoi. The burning chemicals causing heavy smoke, toxic fumes and intense heat. Authorities say the blaze is under control, but its cause is still unknown. This is the moment a slingshot ride snapped mid-air at a fairground in Spain. The malfunction caused the capsule to swing out of control and plummet almost 100 metres towards the ground, leaving the riders dangling in the air. 4 people, including 2 children, suffered minor injuries. In a royal tribute to fallen soldiers, the Princess of Wales has stepped out solo in London for Anzac Day. She laid a wreath at the cenotaph in honour of Australian and New Zealand servicemen and women. The wreath was accompanied with a handwritten message from both Catherine and husband, Prince William. A South Australian fisherman has survived more than a day missing in mangroves. 22-year-old Eka Paudo was winched to safety with just a few cuts and bites. He'd been missing since Friday night after losing his way in the mangroves while fishing with friends. Back with his family today, he said through a translator, he's lucky to be alive.
In the 24 hours, he did not do anything. He just walk. When he feel tired, he just sit and rest. And when he got a bit energy back, then he just continue walking.
The young fisherman says he'll stay on dry land for the foreseeable future. Coming up next, 10 people killed as Russia launches a relentless wave of attacks against Ukraine. The government touts a new tax deduction, but will it maximise your refund? Effie Zahos has the answer. Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page and Slash all used one, the holy grail of guitars, and the Australian man putting his up for sale. Plus the phenomenal feat of Connor Thorley tackling men's mental health 1 kilometre at a time.
Could be blue. This origin, GIO is going blue for the Blues. GIO, great insurance and proud partner of the Blues, obviously.
The Nick Scali Easter clearance ends Monday with up to 50% off a huge range of furniture for every kind of home. Save up to 50% at the Easter clearance. Ends Monday at Nick Scali.
Oh, nice! Every new Rawson home is built with a team of experts guiding you every step of the way. So they take you under their wing? Built better together with Rawson Homes.
I'm sitting at the top, all eyes. But you should know that I don't play my best cards. Wow, look at me now. It's on my way now. Like, wow, look at me now. I'm on my way now. Wow, look at me now. It's on my way now. I'm on my way now.
I'm telling you, they hacked the hackers.
Can we track it?
They intercepted $300 million worth of drugs.
And they caught some of the biggest money launderers in history.
Really?
They keep kids safe online.
And Jen down the road works there.
At the Australian Federal Police, everyday people do legendary work in over 200 diverse roles around Australia and the world.
I reckon I could do that.
Everyday people, legendary work. Apply now.
Unrecreation is spreading, and only one thing can stop it.
Honey, is that a car?
No, that's the Recreational Activity Vehicle 4. Made for recreationists and the recreation-ish. So get on board and inflate the inflatable, because the hero of recreation is here.
What do we got here?
It's actually the,
All-new RAV4. Long live recreation. Toyota.
I want to blend through there every round. Give me comedy pops, give me yacht rock sounds. Politics, make fun, celebrity gossip. Don't tell anyone.
Give your ears what they're crying out for. Radio and audio created and curated locally. Listener.
Hungry Jack's Whopper just got a delicious makeover. Try the new Bistro Whopper with flame-grilled Aussie beef, Swiss cheese, grilled onions and peppercorn sauce. Or try the Bistro Jack's fried chicken. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
It is most.
Russia has launched more than 660 drones and missiles in a relentless wave of strikes against Ukraine. 10 people have been killed with dozens more injured as Ukraine's president calls for another round of peace talks to begin.
Emergency crews race to find survivors after a major Russian strike. This man carried out, another on a stretcher. Hours later, this man is pulled out alive in a state of shock. This apartment building just one of several hit in the deadly attack that Ukrainian authorities say lasted 20 hours. Ukraine's Air Force reporting it shot down hundreds of drones like this one, exploding metres above a building that had already been hit in the southeastern city of Dnipro. Drone fragments damaging homes in Romania for the first time since the war broke out. The country's defence force destroying the debris, Ukraine launching its own attacks. Parts of this high-rise building in Russia blackened and blown out. The latest wave of strikes as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky visits Azerbaijan to talk energy and military cooperation. President Zelensky revealing Ukraine is prepared for another round of trilateral talks. We are ready for the next talks to be in Azerbaijan if Russia will be ready for diplomacy, he said. Residents hoping to turn a new page to find peace. We've been waiting for a long time, this man says. When will it happen? No one knows. Mimi Becker, NBN News.
The US has agreed to let Venezuela fund the legal defence of ousted President Nicolas Maduro, ending a weeks-long standoff. Previous sanctions on the South American nation had blocked it from providing funds to pay for attorneys for the former leader and his wife. Both were captured by US forces in January in an overnight raid and taken to New York to face drugs and weapons charges. Palestinian local elections have included parts of Gaza for the first time in more than 20 years. The Palestine Liberation Organization officially banned Hamas from running in the municipal ballot, as well as parties and candidates who do not support a two-state solution with Israel. The government is touting a new instant $1,000 tax deduction to simplify your tax return. But as Money editor Effie Zahos explains, taking the easy option won't necessarily maximise your refund.
Here we go again. As we gear up for the end of the financial year, tonight I can reveal the craziest claims that Aussies tried to sneak past the tax office. One taxpayer tried to claim $17,000 for baby clothes and medical bills. Another racked up $37,000 in work expenses that included kids' clothes, body wash and perfume. One even tried to claim a $20,000 donation to their own family, all knocked back. When it comes to work deductions, 3 golden rules apply. You paid for it, it's directly related to earning your income, and you've got proof. But starting July 1, you might be able to throw them away. The government's planning for a $1,000 instant tax deduction where no receipts are required. Treasury says 6 million workers will benefit. But don't get too excited. It's a deduction, not a cash handout. It reduces your taxable income. Most taxpayers will see about $200 back, and not until the 2027 tax return. Here's the twist. The average Aussie claims around $2,700 in deductions. If you take the shortcut, you could be leaving hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the table. Maybe best to keep those receipts, or the easy way might cost you.
One of the world's most coveted guitars is up for sale, expected to fetch up to $1 million. The 1959 Gibson Les Paul is the holy grail to many, and this one is described as the most important guitar to ever reach Australia.
From Slash to Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton to the Rolling Stones, they've all played it and all want one. The 1959 Gibson Les Paul, a piece of music history described as the Holy Grail.
Here it is. My pride and joy.
Rarely does one like this ever come up for sale, but this is now on the market. It's one of the most sought-after vintage electric guitars in the world, and it's here in Adelaide.
The minute any guitar player touches it, they feel emboldened.
For New York rocker Mike Fester, he bought it as an 18-year-old for just $750, and it's led him to brushes with stars like Bruce Springsteen and John Lennon. His guitar has been described by sellers as the most important axe to ever arrive on Australian shores.
Used to say that this thing played itself, meaning that, if you had a reasonable amount of chops, you could get a hell of a lot out of it.
It's the holy grail. It really is. To me, it's $1 million guitar.
Gibson has long tried to recreate the magic of the 59, but not quite found it. 643 were originally handmade in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Mike's being one of just 25 constructed with the coveted bird's eye maple wood, meaning not long after purchasing it, it was far too valuable to carry around on the New York subway. There's a good chance this guitar goes overseas to a collector or even Gibson themselves, but for Mike, he says he won't sell it to just anyone, and he hopes it can stay in Australia.
Nobody yet has come forward and impressed me with their ability to buy it and to own it and to cherish it.
Will Lawrence, NBN News.
Novocastrian Connor Thorley has conquered the ultimate road trip, cycling from Perth to Newcastle. The 22-year-old raising almost $25,000 for men's mental health in honour of a mate.
The 4,000-kilometre solo trek kicked off April 1.
Day one, going on the road, about 40 kg in.
Riding an average 200 kilometres a day, with only servo pit stops across the Nullarbor, Connor Thorley didn't take the small moments for granted.
The nicest grass I have seen in 2 days.
Camping most nights on the side of the road in a sleeping bag.
This is my bed. And that's my bike.
That bike, more than just a metal frame.
One of my mates had passed away, so his bike popped up for sale. His son was selling it, and I thought I had to have it and want to do something special with it.
Taking in the scenery and the luxury of a drive-through as he left the red dirt behind.
Sure enough, she served me. I got a sausage McMuffin deal.
But the journey wasn't without its bumps.
I just didn't see it and I just went straight over the top and phone went flying out of my hand and unclipped.
Despite that encounter, Connor raised more than $25,000 for men's mental health. Cheered in at Bar Beach on Friday.
Well done, brother. I've had a lot of people come up and say that I've made a difference and the awareness is huge for me. So the money's great, but the awareness is bigger and I want to keep pushing for that.
Jamie Geddes, NBN News.
Time to put his feet up, I think.
Absolutely.
It's time for sport now with Adam Murray, and it was a dream finish to the A-League regular season for the Newcastle Jets, Adam.
Good evening, Jane. They already had a maiden premiership secured, and then they went on to thump their biggest rivals at home, and we were amongst the celebrations. Also had the Knights in need of reinforcements.
Bingo Car Insurance does away with these fluffy extra bits to keep premiums low. Oh, been nice knowing you, Fluffy. Bingo Car Insurance. No fluffy bits.
Foster care will change your life and the child's. Everyone can achieve great things with the right support. Create a home together and support a young person to thrive.
When you need urgent medical care, but it's not life-threatening, that's a case for a bulk-billed walk-in Medicare Urgent Care Clinic. Find locations and opening hours at health.gov.au/Medicare UCC. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
When your child is in pain, you feel it as if it's your own. You bring back their smile. We'll do the up to 8-hour relief for fever and 8 pains. That's also gentle on little stomachs. Nurofen, leave the fever and 8 pains to us.
Hungry Jack's snack wraps. Crispy, juicy, 100% Aussie chicken. Wrapped up for only $3.95. With 3 delicious sauces. It's tender snack wrap time at Hungry Jack's.
For years, we've been afraid of them. Now it's time for them to be afraid of us. Rise up and fight for your freedom!
If you want to fight, then let's fight together.
We'll use all of our friends, everyone and anyone who hates Gilead, to finally declare enough.
This origin, GIO is going blue for the Blues.
Could be blue.
Oi! Mr. Spot, GIO, great insurance and proud partner of the Blues, obviously.
$1,000 seems like a lot, but neither. It's $17.20 Aussie dollars. What are the transfer fees? 0.
Just think of the things
Nice.
you could do.
We're not you, but when it comes to sending foreign currency, we can be your W.
The Newcastle Jets have celebrated the club's first A-League premiership in style, smashing arch rivals the Central Coast Mariners 4-0 in the final round of the regular season. The youngest squad in the league beaming with confidence as they now chase a rare domestic treble. It's been worth the wait. The majority of an almost 21,000 strong crowd sticking around to celebrate with the A-League premiers.
It's a sort of big footballing region, big footballing city, and you can see what it means to them, so I think that's what football's about, you know?
The box office Jets continuing to live up to the hype as they collected their second piece of silverware this season.
Bertoncello to Bayless, to Mizunuma, to the back of the net. It is champagne football from the Jets. They are enjoying themselves tonight.
Will Dobson scored the first of 4 goals in last night's F3 derby.
And it's party time in Newcastle. And who else but the young boy who came up through the academy.
The 18-year-old local star celebrating the club's maiden premiership in style.
One of the fans gave them to me, but no, obviously it's a big thing for the club. We haven't done that before, so I'm really grateful to be a part of this. I know it doesn't come around too often, but yeah, it just means a lot to me.
Is that maybe the best goal you've ever scored, just in that environment, that atmosphere?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty big game. Obviously, it's a derby. You know, it's for the fans really, the derbies, but to be able to score a goal like that in a moment like this it was unbelievable.
In the sheds, away from the fanfare, the squad, staff and their families soaked in the occasion.
Millsy talks about the history of the club and leaving it in a better place that we found it in. You don't know when you're going to win the next one, so we really got to savour the moment. But as I said, our season's not finished, so we've got to keep going.
Securing top spot last weekend, the Jets had no intention of taking their foot off the gas.
Redmayne carries straight into the path of Eli Adams, and it is 3-0.
With all the action down one end of the field, it allowed James Delianov to keep a clean sheet.
Honestly, I'm just enjoying it and trying to do my best, I guess. So, yeah, as I said, just trying to savour the moment, and yeah, we got one more to go.
Newcastle will now enjoy week 1 of the finals off and await the lowest advancing team from the elimination finals in weeks 2 and 3. Sydney FC is still waiting to find out who they'll play when the A-League finals begin next week. The Sky Blues had a 2-2 draw with Auckland in their final game of the regular season today. They currently sit 6th, but that could change depending on the result of tonight's Melbourne City-Adelaide clash. Knights coach Justin Holbrook is looking forward to welcoming back a host of stars, including Kalen Ponga next week. A depleted side today handed a tough lesson by the Panthers, thumped 44-12. A weekend of great significance drew a big crowd.
At the moment, and we just had too many errors on early tackles and just made it too hard a day.
Pretty much business as usual for Dill. Like he does that for us week in, week out, has been for years.
The Panthers brushing off the Knights.
Well, we were capable of those first couple of games of the year when you're lucky you're at full strength. A lot of young guys playing plenty of minutes at NRL level, and as I said, we'll be better in the long run, but yeah, not today.
Kieran Foran's magic touch at Manly has delivered a 4th straight win. His side dismantling the Eels 33-18. In front of a raucous capacity crowd, the Seagulls rewarded their faithful with a statement-making first home victory of the season.
A packed-out Brookvale Oval, paying their respects to the Anzacs. It wasn't long until Sea Eagles fans were...
For our fans, very poor in those first 3 rounds, so for the people that showed up, it's good for them to celebrate a win with us here.
Nicole Dunn, NBN News.
For the first time in Craig Bellamy's esteemed career, the Storm have lost 6 straight games. The Supercoach lost for words after their 48-6 thumping by the Rabbitohs.
Probably most embarrassed I've ever been in my footy life, to be quite honest. Play like that tonight. So at the end of the day, I've stuck with basically the same side the last 6 weeks. I think it's time to some changes here.
Those changes will include halfback Jerome Hughes, who failed at HIA, ruling him out of next week's clash against the Dolphins. Night star Olivia Higgins has been recalled to the Blues for next week's Women's State of Origin opener in Newcastle. The dummy half named on the bench for Origin 1 after being among the reserves last year.
I'm, stoked that Strangers decided to go with 2 dummy halves. And like I said, though, every single year there's people coming, there's younger girls coming through, the competition gets harder. So just have to make sure that you put your best foot forward and I guess are as prepared as possible.
Higgins is one of 3 Novocastrians who will wear sky blue at McDonald Jones Stadium on Thursday night. Zach Lomax is expecting a huge performance from Waratah Joseph Suaalii when he returns from injury next week. The former Blues Origin teammates preparing to clash for the first time in the 15-man code.
I'd imagine
he wouldn't have enjoyed it too much being on the sidelines, but he's an unbelievable player, and mate, you've seen what he's done just this far coming up to the game. So, mate, it'll be a real good contest for both of us going up against each other.
The Black Ferns have heaped more misery on the Wallaroos' winless start to the year, defeating Australia 40-5 in the first Anzac Day test between the Trans-Tasman rivals. After the break, the Aussie surfer that's just put the world on notice, and look who's back. Pat Cummins takes a wicket in his return from injury.
Watch me, I'm sitting at the top all eyes. You should know that I don't play my best cards. Wow, look at me now. Missing on my way now, like wow. Look at me now. I'm on way to my wow. Look at me now. Missing on my way. I'm on way to
The Nick Scali Easter clearance ends Monday, with up to 50% off a huge range of furniture for every kind of home. Save up to 50% at the Easter clearance. Ends Monday at Nick Scali.
When you need urgent medical care, but it's not life-threatening, that's a case for a bulk-billed walk-in Medicare Urgent Care Clinic. Find locations and opening hours at health.gov.au/Medicare UCC. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Unrecreation is spreading, and only one thing can stop it.
Honey, is that a car?
No, that's the Recreational Activity Vehicle 4. Made for recreationists and the recreation-ish. So get on board and inflate the inflatable, because the hero of recreation is here.
What do we got here?
It's actually the...
All-new RAV4. Long live recreation. Toyota.
Nice! Every new Rawson home is built to the highest standard, with a team of experts guiding you every step of the way.
So they take you under their wing? Huh? Oh, dear.
And with a lifetime structural guarantee, you know it's built to last.
Putting it to the test there, Cookie.
You can be confident you're built better together with Rawson Homes. Are your ferrous iron tablets making you constipated, nauseous, or even vomit? Say hello to Multifer, a non-ferrous iron with significantly less side effects. Move to Multifer and feel the difference.
Would you like to win a $5,000 dream holiday of your choice? Take out a new home loan with Summerland Bank before June 15, and you'll go into the draw to win. Keep it simple and be rewarded with a $5,000 holiday voucher for you to plan your dream getaway through Hello World Travel. We're local, ethical, and customer owned. Apply online today or visit us in branch. Summerland Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
The Casino Food Company Casino Beef Week Festival is here from May 23rd to May 31st. Celebrate Australia's beef industry in this 9-day festival with cattle displays, incredible food and loads of family-friendly fun. For tickets and info, visit casinobeefweek.com.au.
This report brought to you by Somerville Laundry Lomax for all matters when it matters most.
You'd be forgiven for not knowing the name George Pitter, but it's worth remembering now. The young Aussie upstaging 3-time surfing world champion Gabriel Medina in the final of the Margaret River Pro for his first ever championship tour win.
I can't even believe it, honestly. I haven't won a comp since I was 15 years old. I just want to win one so bad. I want to get cheered up and holy beat Medina in the final here.
The 23-year-old claiming the title with the highest scoring wave of the entire tournament. After 4 long months, Pat Cummins is finally back bowling, taking a wicket in the Sunrisers' 5-wicket Indian Premier League win over the Royals. Cummins managing 4 overs in his first game back since the 3rd Ashes test, but he wasn't required to bat, Hyperbad winning with 9 balls to spare. Arsenal is back on top of the Premier League ladder, for now at least. The Gunners defeating Newcastle 1-0 to move 3 points ahead of Manchester City, but City now has a game in hand. In the relegation battle, Tottenham finally secured their first league victory of 2026, beating Wolves 1-0. But West Ham's injury time winner against Everton means Spurs remain in the drop zone. There was mayhem in English football's fifth tier as York City and Rochdale fought for promotion in the final match of the season. Rochdale thought they'd secured the title with a 95th minute goal. Fans storming the field to celebrate, but that forced injury time to be extended, allowing York to equalise in the 103rd minute, a draw enough to see them promoted. Coffs Harbour Grom Luca Martin fell short in the North Narrabeen River final today. Martin reached the decider after beating Queenslander Harrison Gibbs in the under-16s boys semi-finals, but had to play second fiddle in the final showdown, going down to Bondi's Hugo Spearings. The NRRL's reigning premiers are entering round 4 on a winning streak, but according to their coach, the Morris brothers aren't resting on their laurels, preparing for a big upcoming clash.
A flawless start to 2026. Premiership trophy holders, the Morris brothers, continuing to dominate the NRRL this season. After wins against Byron Bay and Evans Head in rounds 1 and 2, the Rams have continued their winning streak with a convincing display against the Kyogle Turkeys, showing them up 30-4.
There was lots of positives to come from, and I think it was a pretty complete performance by us.
Coach Daryl Butcher putting the success of the team down to improved defence.
We've got some very impressive attacking players, but we worked pretty hard defensively during the week. We've conceded 18 or 20 points so far this year in 3 games, so we're really happy with that.
Some exciting new talent also making their way up the ranks from the under-18 side.
It's been great to see them play, and to see them come from our junior club where they were playing when they were 9, 10, 11, whatever, like all the way through, and to now see them get some first grade time was great.
But the side is far from relaxed, hoping to come out on top at the end of the season once again. Their calendar marked for several big clashes to come.
We're excited to be hunted, and rather than doing all the hunting, we're excited for some really big games coming our way.
One of which is fast approaching.
Next Sunday, we've got Casino, and they're a really good club. Great club to play against, and I'm sure they'll be coming for us.
The showdown between the two clubs will take place in Lismore, kicking off at 2:45 p.m. Isabel Gallagher, NBN News.
And Lakes United's upset win over the Entrants yesterday was much needed after back-to-back losses to start the Newcastle Rugby League season.
We got Emma's Warriors Day next week, obviously, and that's one of our biggest days, so getting a win coming into that is unreal.
Meanwhile, last night's Coalfields derby certainly lived up to the hype. A spear tackle seeing Curry's Luke Quigley binned in the opening minutes. Cessnock raced out to a 12-0 lead at home, but the scores were back level at half-time. Flynn Mitchell gave the Bulldogs the lead after the break, leaving the Goannas playing catch-up. Reid Hugo crashed over in the 63rd minute, but the two sides couldn't be split in an 18-all draw. And that is our look at sport.
Nice one. Thank you, Adam. Stay with us. We'll check all your local weather details next, including our 7-day outlook for the Northern Rivers and the Gold Coast.
On your Sunday night, the Battle of the Brains. It's the ultimate race for domination. The Floor. Next on 9.
When you need urgent medical care, but it's not life-threatening, that's a case for a bulk-billed walk-in Medicare Urgent Care Clinic. Find locations and opening hours at health.gov.au/Medicare UCC. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
They say the top is a lonely place. But right now, it's the most crowded it's ever been.
One slip, and it's all over.
Oh, he's missed it! He's missed it!
The Premier League. Your unforgiving fight for immortality.
Oh, that's outstanding!
The Champions League. The icons. This is where the best on earth collide.
Oh, my goodness gracious me!
The Emirates FA Cup, the Dreamers against the Giants.
What a glorious goal!
The Europa League and Conference League. Every minute is a fight for survival.
Oh, that is superb!
In the Women's Super League, Australian superstar Mary Fowler is looking to create history.
Oh, and it's in! Mary Fowler!
6 trophies. History on the line.
Only on the stand sports. Only one question remains. Who wants it more?
What if you could have your investment watched like a hawk? At Vision Super, we keep strong returns in sight and look for ways to keep fees low, so our members look forward to more. Vision Super. Super Vision.
Winter's calling, and the newest big brand gear has just landed at Anaconda. Score big with the new Daiwa 26 frame spin reel from $259. Lightweight and more refined. Feel the difference on every cast. Pay less to play more at Anaconda.
Across Australia's vast landscapes and challenges, from lifestyle to lifestyle, from sunrise to sunset, every job demands something different. From compact tractors to utility tractors from 25 to 140 horsepower, skid steers, zero-turn mowers, UTVs, all designed for tough Australian conditions. Find your local dealer at coyote.com.au. Coyote, we've got you covered.
Would you like to win a $5,000 dream holiday of your choice? Take out a new home loan with Summerland Bank before June 15, and you'll go into the draw to win. Keep it simple and be rewarded with a $5,000 holiday voucher for you to plan your dream getaway through Hello World Travel. We're local, ethical, and customer owned. Apply online today or visit us in branch. Summerland Bank. Terms and conditions apply.
Won't you please help me?
We've helped Australians for 100 years. Now we're helping protect and prepare them for the next 100.
Showers for the Northern Rivers again today, 19 millimetres falling at Lismore in the 24 hours to 9 a.m, and more rain on the way this week. On the satellite, cloud over northeast New South Wales and Queensland's east in onshore winds is driving the gusty showers and some storms. Clear skies for the Hunter and the Central Coast. The high pressure in the Tasman Sea will continue to dominate the weather, extending a ridge across eastern and central Australia, bringing warm, dry and sunny conditions for southern, central and inland areas. Showers and storms possible again for northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland tomorrow. Partly cloudy today with rain and possible thunderstorms this evening. Moderate southeasterly winds today, becoming light this evening. A top of 24 in Grafton, 23 the top for Evans Head and Ballina, 22 at Byron and 24 the top for Coolangatta today. Tomorrow's forecast for your public holiday Monday, partly cloudy with a high chance of showers. Light winds becoming moderate south-southeasterly in the middle of the day. Heading for 23 at Yamba and Evans Head, the same at Ballina, 16 to 21 for Byron, 22 for Lismore tomorrow, 24 for Tweed Heads and 17 to 25 for the Gold Coast with some showers. Coastal waters information for tomorrow, seas and swell at 1.5 metres for the Byron Coast, southeasterlies up to 20 knots. Now to conditions for Byron Bay, sunrise at 6:11, sunset at 5:18, the high tide at 5:05 a.m, and similar times for the Gold Coast with sunrise at 6:09. And the outlook for the next 7 days for the Tweed Heads, some decent rain possible tomorrow. Tuesday partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers, mid-20s for the next 7 days. For Ballina, showers also continuing up to 20 millimetres on the way tomorrow, a possible 9 millimetres on Tuesday. For Lismore, also looking wet, although not quite as heavy. You can see up to 20 millimetres on the way for tomorrow. And Grafton, showers ahead. And that is the NBN News. We'll be back with the National Late News at 10:15. Until then, from all the team here, thanks for your company. Good night.